Okay, in the last video we had a bit of a look at the power system and the control system. And I said that I'd show you how to do the soldering between the battery and the speed controller, and the speed controller and the motor. So that's what this video is going to be about. Now I've got a little clamping station here just to be able to hold my pieces. It's much easier if you can hold them, otherwise maybe something to sort of stick them down to the bench so they're not moving around. Soldering on, I've got my battery to test it, these DB3 dual sky bullet connectors. I've got a bit of yellow heat shrink, that's not really necessary. I just happen to have some, so it's going to make it a bit easier for the colour coding. Got my receiver and 4 servos to test it. This is a little prop saver. I'll show you in another video what we need to do with that, but we're going to cut this threaded centre down off the motor and put the prop saver on. That saved us from when the prop hits the ground in a crash or when it's landing, rather than snapping this whole thread off and making this motor almost useless, the prop will bend off with some rubber bands and it shouldn't be a problem. So firstly we're going to have a look at this XT60 connector and connecting that to the speed controller so that the battery provides power to the speed controller. So we'll open up that packet. Now notice that I've got just a little bit of a solder tip cleaning device there, and I've got my extraction ready to go so that I'm not sucking in any lead, and you want to be wearing safety glasses and whatever other safety precautions you wish to take. So XT60 connector, I've got a little positive mark on there. The other side, can't really tell. It does look like it's got a positive side on the other side as well, but you can easily tell by lining it up, and it will only fit one way, lining it up with your battery leads, and the battery one's already got one on there, and the red wire, which is positive, is going to the flat side. So I'll do the flat side first, the positive side. Just going to clip that in there. Safety glasses on. And I'm going to have my electronic speed controller ready to go. What I'm going to do is just put a bit of solder into that so it pulls up, and then stick the speed controller red wire into that positive one. So I'll just lift it up a little bit like that. Get my tip nice and clean, just apply a bit of solder to it, and whoops, I've got to turn on my extractor. There we go. A nice clean tip. And I've almost forgotten actually, before we do that, we want to use some of this heat shrink. This heat shrink is provided for the speed controller to motor, except we're going to use just a bit of an offcut of the heat shrink there, because they provided too much to protect the two terminals here. So we'll open that one up as well. And we'll get some red and black heat shrink. Don't really need much. Probably about that much. And then we'll just slide those onto the wires, ready to go. There we go. So again, exhaust on, safety glasses on, get a bit of solder into this terminal. It's fairly chunky, so you will need to get a bit of heat into it before the solder wants to stick. I just turned my iron off, so I've just turned that back on so that it heats up hopefully pretty quickly. There we go. We just want to stick our red wire into there while it's nice and hot, and just hold it in there. Okay, that's one side done. I'll do the heat shrink in a second, but I'm going to just flip it over to have a look at the other side. So this is the negative side. Enough solder in there so it's sort of pulling up a little bit. And then get our black lead. So it's firmly in place. So you just maybe want to check that you've got them nice and secure. I've done that. Now I just want to pull that heat shrink up, and this is still quite hot on the terminal, so be careful that you don't burn yourself, but also the heat shrink will start melting straight away. So I'll just turn my extractor off. And I've got a jet lighter, but you could use the tip of your soldering iron. I just don't want to get plastic on the tip of my soldering iron. So I'm just going to slip that up over the connector, slip that up over the connector too. And then just heat that heat shrink up so it wraps around, tight around those terminals.